Of the 7.8 billion people living on this planet, the majority of us are obsessed with something. Some are obsessed with sports, others with science, some with literature, others with logic, some with music, others with silence. Some are obsessed with food and some are obsessed with a healthy lifestyle. Taking a step further, some are obsessed with them being obsessed about something and some are obsessed with not being obsessed about anything in life. Well, if you're thinking, why is he obsessed with the word obsessed? Nothing like that. I just want to share with you an obsession called mathematics. Hi, I am Sharath and welcome to this episode of Free to Remain Human. Before going further, in this episode, I won't be explaining any university math or try to solve any huge problem. I'll just tell some terms whenever necessary. Like all my previous episodes, this is also a book review. In fact, in this episode, I'll be reviewing two books. The beauty is, these two books are written by two different authors and are in two different genres. One is a non-fiction explaining the contributions of many mathematicians, and the other one is a beautiful fictional narration about a man who is determined to solve a problem. Though they look entirely different, both the authors, through their respective books, try to picture the life of people who had dedicated their lives just to solve a problem. In the end, I would like to tell about a problem that I had assumed I had solved that, and I was wrong. The first book is Fermat's Last Theorem by Simon Singh. He's a British physicist and has authored many good books, and my favorites are Fermat's Last Theorem and The Code Book. Through this book, he tries to narrate the life of Andrew Wiles, the famous mathematician who has proved Fermat's Last Theorem. For those who are curious, Pere de Fermat was a 17th century mathematician who is also called as Prince of Mathematics. It is said that one night, while he was solving some problems, he wrote something like this in the margin of his book. A power n plus b power n is equal to c power n for all n greater than 2 has no integral roots other than 0. I have a magnificent proof in my head and unfortunately my margin is too small to write this. But little did he know that this would result in the golden period of mathematical proofs and breakthroughs which would last more than 300 years. Many mathematicians and their works are introduced to the readers in this book. I don't want to speak much about the content of the book as that would spoil all the fun. The language is simple and easy to understand. Anyone can pick up and read this book. If you are comfortable with some basic math terms, you can enjoy this book. What I would suggest is, anyone who thinks mathematics is just adding numbers or solving problems to get good grades, you just pick this one. Probably you change your opinion about math. And the second book is Uncle Pedro's and the Goldbach's Conjecture. It is written by Apostolos Doxiadis. That's what I think his name is pronounced. He's a Greek writer and holds a degree in mathematics. The other book he has written is Logicomics. It's a graphic novel and it's pretty famous. Uncle Pedro's and Goldbach's Conjecture is a pure fiction work revolving around the life of a nephew who is inspired by his uncle to take up mathematics as his major subject. What follows after is the difficulties he faces while convincing his family about his decision and some heartbreaking truths about why his uncle left mathematics. He has done some amazing work by beautifully picturing the difficulties a mathematician faces when he decides to do something no one else has done. Probably many have guessed by now that this book has something to do with the Goldbach's Conjecture. You are absolutely right. Goldbach's Conjecture is a simple problem to understand and yet no one has given a satisfying proof for this. It states that any even number greater than 2 like 4, 6, 8 can be expressed as sum of two prime numbers. It's simple, right? Just pick up any pick up any even number like 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 and take some two prime numbers and prove that adding those two prime numbers will result in an even number. No, not that. The opposite of that. Any even number can be expressed as sum of two primes like 4, 2 plus 2, 6, 3 plus 3, 8, 5 plus 3, something like that. You're not supposed to prove it for a particular number. You need to give a generalized proof for it. And till now, it is still called as conjecture because no one has proved it. Okay, so I'll just tell you hierarchy. Basically, how mathematical terms are or mathematical problems are classified. First comes the hypothesis. Hypothesis is basically based on some observation. Some tells that this is true and this happens. That hypothesis becomes a conjecture when someone picks it up and he tries to prove it for a long time, but even fails to disprove it. So that's when it becomes a conjecture. When someone works on that conjecture and gives a proof that is accepted by the entire mathematical community, that conjecture becomes a theorem. So basically, the Fermat's last theorem was actually a conjecture which was proved by Andrew Wiles, and then it became Fermat's last theorem. Similarly, the Goldbach's conjecture is still a conjecture because no one has given a satisfying proof for this. In fact, a friend of mine, a fellow engineering batchmate, had actually tried to solve this problem, and he gave me the proof. The proof was astonishingly good. Even I looked at it. It was like a generalized proof, and then after asking many lecturers, and I came to know that the perspective in which he used prime number in the proof was wrong, so the entire proof was wrong. But it was still a good one. Maybe I hope that one day someone among you would prove it. Yeah, coming back to these books, both of these books are pretty small book. Fermat's last theorem is around 300 pages, and the other one is around 100 pages, the Goldbach's conjecture book. Any regular reader can read it in one shot. Yeah, as I told earlier, even I had some obsession towards a particular problem. Before concluding this video, as I told earlier, even I had some obsession towards a particular problem. In my second year engineering, I was given an assignment to write a computer program which would tell whether the given pair of graphs are isomorphic or not. But I did not know that there was no polynomial time complexity solution for that. Somehow I wrote some code, and astonishingly it was working pretty good. And it was in polynomial time complexity. So I decided to do something about it. I tried some methods to prove it. As I did not have enough knowledge on proving techniques, like I had not studied much on graph theory, discrete mathematics. I was still in a second year and I was just introduced to that subject. I tried everything that I could have done, and I decided that probably someday in the future I would solve it. I discussed it with many of my seniors. Many told that they would help in any way possible. Like just recently, like 2 to 3 months ago, a senior of mine sent me a website telling that this website generates pretty good isomorphic graphs, like around 100 vertices, 50 vertices. Just try it out and see what exactly is happening. Unfortunately, when I tried that, my program failed pretty badly. I was sad about it. I worked for some time on that, and I decided that I would drop this for now, and sometime again in the future I would pick it up and try to solve it. Well, that's it for today's episode. I'll meet you in the next one with some other books that are worth your time. Till then, stay safe and read more. Question that I had asked in the previous episode was, which planet's existence was predicted way before its discovery? The answer is Neptune, and its existence was predicted by Urbain Le Verrier. It was answered by Hacker 2.0. Congratulations. Today's question is, who is called as India's Prince of Mathematics? Drop the answers in the comment section below.